You better make the most of the DCEU Earth 1 for as long as you can. I'll explain more later. Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, on Instagram at Movies TV Mad 555, and on TikTok at Movies TV Mad XXX. Yes, welcome to Wednesday's edition of the Movies TV Mad Daily. And the Batman went to CinemaCon. A lot of you surprised about this because DC fandom is coming, but that's because they really want to reach a broad stroke, a broader audience with this movie, because everyone loves the Batman character, including other fans that are not DC fans. Anyway, the wrap has all the information about what happened, and it's very, very exciting. Robert Pattinson's Dark Knight Rises in the Batman CinemaCon footage. Warner Brothers screened a sneak peek of the anticipated movie. This is by Beatrice Verhoeven. Warner Brothers debuted a look at Matt Reeves' The Batman at CinemaCon on Tuesday. The featurette, followed by the DC fandom trailer released last year, opened with what looks like chaos, with Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne walking through Gotham. From there he rises, and we hear Reeves promise an emotional Batman movie that we've never seen before. He also said it's going to be radically different from any other Batman movie we've seen before, which is a good thing. Pattinson also talked about how so many people have connected to the Batman character, and about how the film is a passion project for Reeves. Reeves also said the film is grounded the way Year One is, referring to Batman Year One, the groundbreaking 1987 miniseries written by Frank Miller. That, in case you forgot, also served as the primary basis for Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins. This is very, very true, but this film will be more faithful to that material. For some reason, Batman has always stood as one of the major characters of the 20th century, Pattinson said in the featurette, adding that all fights seem very personal to the character in the upcoming film, as we saw from that DC fandom end snippet of the trailer when he's punching the hell of that guy who says, "Who are you supposed to be?" I love that bit. The cast includes Zoe Kravitz as Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, Paul Dano as Edward Nashton, also known as the Riddler, and John Turturro is playing Carmine Falcone. Andy Serkis will play Alfred Pennyworth, and Colin Farrell will portray the Penguin. Jeffrey Wright is playing Commissioner Gordon. Peter Sarsgaard is playing the role of Wasserman, while Jamie Lawson is set to star as well. Reeves has described his film as a defining and a very personal story about the Dark Knight, rather than an origin story in the vein of Frank Miller's beloved Year One series. According to insiders with knowledge of the project, Reeves' film will explore Bruce Wayne's second year as the Dark Knight detective. The film will hit theatres in 2022. So very short and sweet. So there was basically what they saw, which we didn't see last year, we haven't seen yet, is the sizzle reel. Then they showed the trailer we saw last year. My question would be is that what we're going to get, or is there a brand new trailer? I think there's an exclusive trailer for DC fandom. Warner Brothers are looking at fandom as an exclusive thing for the fans. That means everyone can come and see it, and they're not going to allow Access Media to see something that we haven't first, unlike some studios who like to kiss the butts of Access Media. So that's a good thing. So last year when we saw the Suicide Squad promotional material at fandom, we saw kind of an animated kind of cast list, didn't we? And then we saw an amazing, exciting sizzle reel. And I think this is exactly what we're going to see. We're going to see this sizzle reel, then we're going to see a brand new trailer. So I can't wait for Matt Reeves and hopefully Robert Pattinson and maybe the rest of the cast show up at DC fandom. That will probably be a bigger panel than the others because it's coming in March. It's the next DC movie, so that's very, very exciting indeed. Now, on the top of the show, I kind of gave you a little hot take that might have upset you. I said, make the most of the DCEU Earth 1 while you can. Because as I was having a cigarette outside, I came up with a pearl of wisdom, and maybe it's been spoken about by other people. In the Flash movie, Barry Allen will reboot the universe, the multiverse. Everything's going to change. That means the DCEU that we've known will be no more. It won't be forgotten. And I've said this many a times because that's what Andy said. Andy said, and everything will be remembered. How about after Barry reboots the universe, everyone is in Matt Reeves' DC universe, and Warner Brothers will rename this franchise then. Maybe we'll have an official title for the new DCEU. So picture this. Barry reboots the universe, the multiverse, or whatever he's going to do, and then he's running through. He's looking around. Everything's a bit different. It's not how he remembers it, because obviously he thinks he's fixed things now after Flashpoint. And then maybe he runs up to Wayne Manor, or maybe he decides to go to Gotham. And someone approaches him and goes, "You all right?" or something. And he goes, "Yeah, who are you?" "I'm Bruce Wayne." And it's Robert Pattinson. Could Robert Pattinson, in fact, be the main Batman in this new Justice League universe? I think so. After they reboot the DCEU, there will be no DCEU Earth 1. We've already heard officially that Pattinson's Batman is in Earth 2. Well, of course, when the Batman's on, the DCEU Earth 1 will still exist. It will still exist in Black Adam as well. And it will, for the most part, the beginning of the Flash movie, it will still exist then. But when Barry reboots the multiverse, the universe, then we're in Earth 2. And that will be the new Earth 1. The Pattinson Earth will be the new Earth 1. They could even attempt to do what they did in Crisis on Infinite Earths, when they kind of said there's just one Earth now. But of course, I don't believe that's the case. But I do believe that when he reboots the universe, he will be in Pattinson's Earth. This is the whole point of what they're attempting to do. Leave the DCEU Earth 1 behind, and everyone is on Pattinson's, Matt Reeves' Earth now. Some people will be left behind. A new version of Batman. No more Batfleck. Probably. Who knows? I don't know. I don't want that to happen. I'm just telling you how it may look. Maybe no more Henry Cavill's Superman. Sadly, we could have a brand new Superman, maybe introduced in the Batman. I doubt it, but who knows? This is going to be very, very interesting. By the way, no one's told me this is going to happen. This is just a theory. Because I was talking yesterday about Discovery thinking of, cancelling the DCEU. This is a better way of doing it. Leave the DCEU Earth 1 behind. Whatever you don't want to bring into Earth 2, you leave there, and whatever you want to do, you bring there. And then there's no discussion of canon anymore. The universe has been rebooted. There's no canon anymore. We're starting from scratch. Believe you me, everyone, this is the best thing. Leave the DCEU Earth 1 behind and go to this new Earth. It's exciting, and maybe Matt Reeves will be... I don't think Matt Reeves will be the main director. I was going to say that, but I think we've already had issues with one auteur running the DCEU originally, and as great as he is, and as talented as he is, and as great as his DC movies are, it simply doesn't work for a broader audience. But I do expect the DC studios to be implemented by Discovery, by the way, and we discussed that yesterday, not to go over old ground again. And so I do think the future of DC live action, for the movies at least, and the main Earth, will be on this Earth 2, and the other Earth will probably never be seen again. It's gone. Basically, they are deleting the DCEU Earth 1. That's what I think. They'll remember it. The characters will remember it. Barry will remember it. I think it will take the other characters longer than Barry to remember where they're originally from, and that'll be interesting. But I think that the Matt Reeves Earth will be the new main Earth of this DC Extended Universe, whatever they're going to call it. I think they will also have to rename it, because let's be absolutely clear here. The DCEU is a public relations disaster, and they have to move away from what it has been. We start off with Snyder. Snyder leaves, and we do this other stuff that's not really interconnected. We need to start again. So basically, when Barry reboots the universe, Matt Reeves' Earth will in fact then be Earth 1, and there'll be other Earths that exist that we haven't been introduced to yet. Maybe we'll be introduced to those Earths in the Flash movie. A lot of people are doing a lot of talking, saying, look how great Spider-Man Far From Home is, and oh, look at DC, they're not, you know, where's their multiverse? Well, it's coming in November. So you should never judge anything. Never judge anything until you've seen it. Whatever film you've seen in DC live action ever, you have every right to judge it as long as you've seen it and touched it and sampled it. You have no right to judge the future movies until you've seen them. Even Spider-Man Far From Home, the trailer is great, but let me assure you, that trailer is out of context, and I gave you my theory about that film as well. I believe we've got a Flashpoint scenario in Spider-Man Far From Home, and that magic spell has nothing to do with it. I believe somehow after Mysterio died, and I told you this yesterday when we were talking about Spider-Man Far From Home, and that something happened, and all of a sudden Peter's in this kind of alternate world, like Marty McFly finds himself after he picks up that sporting almanac in Back to the Future 2, but he hasn't noticed, he doesn't know yet that he's on an alternate Earth. So that's my theory, and we'll see about that. So of course I'm excited for Spider-Man Far From Home. I've loved Spider-Man since I was a young boy, since I was watching Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, the animated series, or the briefly existed The Amazing Spider-Man TV series, which wasn't great, but we loved it as kids. So I'm looking forward to it. And I just think it's going to be a great epic film, but I just hope it meets everyone's expectations, because everyone's making huge predictions of it being a masterpiece, and I hope it works out for everyone, because this really is being led by Sony rather than the MCU and Feige. So it's very interesting what they're going to do in that movie. Of course, it's exciting. It's exciting to see Al Molina's Doc Ock. It's exciting to see Bill Dafoe come back as the Green Goblin, and God knows who else we're going to see. Should be Tobey Maguire, should be Andy Garfield, and so many more. And I think that Tom Holland, even though he's not my favourite Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire is, I think he's a lovely young man, a pure young man, and he deserves all his success. He's so polite to the fans, he's so unproblematic, and he's so really talented. In fact, I'd love him to be the next Doctor Who. I think he'd be fantastic in the role. And we got a similar situation with Flash. We are going to be reintroduced to iconic iterations of these DC characters we've watched in the past. We know about Michael Keaton's Batman, but there's so many more we're going to see in this film. We are going to get our Spider-Verse. We are going to get our Spider-Man Far From Home in the Flash movie. But our event is huger, even though the hype isn't there yet. We're over a year away from it, so that's understandable, but the hype will come back in this year's fandom, and in next year's fandom we'll be nearly there. We know how important this film is to Warner Brothers. They're literally deleting, as I say, the DCEU Earth 1. Now, I've spoken about this ages ago, I think, but I'm going back to this theory again. They're deleting Earth 1, and Reeves' universe is the main universe. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense with what's going on. So, with Matt Reeves' universe, maybe, probably, I think it will be the central universe. It'll be a very interesting situation, what kind of role Matt Reeves, despite not just with the Batman films and Gotham PD and everything involving Batman, but how involved he will be in the development of that situation. And obviously, this is another big gamble by them, like the Flash movie and the rebooting of the DCEU is, because the Batman has to be a good film for us, for critics, for everyone, for a broader audience. That Earth can only really work as the central universe if that film works. And this is the situation we have here. It's a gamble, but it's also very exciting. I can't defend the DCEU, and no one is innocent. Let me be clear here. Everyone who was involved with setting up the DCEU, from Snyder to Sugihara, everyone is to blame for what's happened. None of them worked as a team. They were all pulling in different directions. And we've been mocked by MCU fans, Marvel fans, lots of different franchise fans, and we deserve that mocking. Not us as fans, we haven't done nothing wrong. We just wanted to see a great universe. And the films are great, mostly, but unfortunately as a franchise, it's just never worked, and it's never captured the imagination of the broader audience. And you need that, because this is partially a business. It's not just the business of entertainment, it's the business of business as well. And what Feige has done with the MCU is remarkable. Whether you like the films, whether you like Feige, whether you like Disney, the people who watch Disney films and enjoy them, the people who went to movie theatres and saw Free Guy and Jungle Cruise don't particularly like Disney, but they trust them to entertain them. And this is what the future of Warner Brothers needs to be, and especially the future of DC live action. And so I absolutely believe that Matt Reeves' universe will be the central universe from now on, the central Earth, and I think that is the plan. I think Matt Reeves is going to be more heavily involved with everything than we ever thought in that case. Now, they're not going to, if this is true, they're not going to tell us any of this, because this would be in the climax of the Flash movie after Barry reboots the universe. So this is part of the story they will not want to reveal. But that's what I see happening. And I'll tell you why this is good. It leaves the DCEU Earth 1 behind, and all the memories we've had of those films, and it says, right, that doesn't exist anymore. This is a new world. This is a new world with these DCEU characters. Some will be played by the actors that you know and love, that you've grown to love as these iconic characters, but some will be played by new actors, and you're going to have a whole host of different characters. Then you've got different multiverse movies like Ta-Nehisi Coates and J.J. Abrams' Superman movie, which I don't know what Earth that's going to be, but I certainly don't think, well, it may be, it could be, actually, from Reeves' universe. I don't know. They may need a Superman, and maybe the black Superman will be the main Superman. I know that will upset some of you. As long as it's a great actor, as long as it's written well, and I can enjoy that Superman, I'm more than happy with that. So we will just see what happens there. But yes, that is my theory, that they're shutting off, by the end of the Flash film, they will shut off the DCEU Earth 1 and implement the Matt Reeves, which is called the Earth 2 right now, as the central universe for DC live action. I approve of this decision, if this is what they're doing, because you need to sweep clean. You need to start from scratch, because unfortunately, and it's not really the people's faults running the universe now. I mean, I challenge anyone to come in, be Walter Hamada after the clusterfuck that was Justice League and everything that went on before. What you do, this is the best thing to do. And I've said this before, you can't judge Walter Hamada until you've seen the Flash movie. That is the central plan. If that film is awesome, then everyone's got to say that Walter Hamada must stay. He is a great producer and president of DC Films, and he's doing a great job. And I just want to reiterate something about his doubts about the Joker movie. This was him saying, do we want to kind of veer off the plan? Let's focus on the central DCEU rather than going off and doing this. He didn't feel the Black Label was a good idea at that point. Now, Todd Phillips believes he didn't have the power to shut it down, but Todd also said he didn't necessarily think maybe he would shut it down, but he did have his doubts. It's all right to have your doubts. It's all right saying now, how can you have doubts on the Joker? But at the end of the day, you know, these people are in charge, and Walter's come into a situation where he can't fuck up. So, it's been an interesting time since he's come, but as I say, the movies we've seen since he's come in have mainly been placeholders. I think Shazam's very important to the future of the DC live action universe, but films like Wonder Woman 84, placeholders, ill-conceived movies, Birds of Prey is not, I don't think Birds of Prey is a bigger clusterfuck as Wonder Woman 84 is. At least it's a solid movie. I just really don't like the commentary in that film. But judge Walter Hamada once you've seen the Flash movie. But we do have a lot to look forward to. Now I have a few questions from superfan Scott Edwards. And firstly, I would absolutely like to thank Scott for interacting with me, showing me that my opinion means something to him. And if you like this channel, make sure you like the videos. It's important to get seen on the algorithm. You know, you know, get people to subscribe to the channel, you know, shout out the channel if you want to see more of the channel, if you want to see the channel survive. Because right now the views aren't great, to be honest, very slow views. Maybe it's my fault, maybe the subject matter isn't what you want to see, but sometimes there's no news. There will be not much DCEU news to fandom now, so you've also got to understand that, and I need to produce content daily as well. Anyway, thank you, Scott. Let's see what you have to say. At Movies TV Mad, question for tomorrow's Movies TV Mad Daily. Do you think we'll see the all Justice League members in the Flash film, including Wonder Woman and Aquaman? I hope so. Also, do you think by the end of the film we'll see what's all been erased from the canon and what is now canon? Right, I think some of this I've already kind of covered with my kind of theory of what's going to happen with the Battinson Earth 2. So, Scott, I'll kind of reiterate what I've already said. If you fast forwarded to this bit of the video, but basically just to say that I believe that the DCEU Earth 1 will be deleted and the Matt Reeves universe will be the brand new Earth. Now, in terms of knowing what's canon and what's not, well, here's the thing. That will be a memory. It will never be forgotten. But that's on another Earth that doesn't exist anymore. That Earth, the Earth we're watching the movies from right now, will be deleted. It won't exist. So, kind of, it will be in their memories, but it won't exist. So it won't actually be canon because it's going to be deleted, but it will always be remembered. Now, the first question you asked, do you think we'll see all the Justice League members in the Flash film? Yes, I do. I think we will see all the Justice League members in the Flash film, apart from Ray Fisher's Cyborg, which obviously has been well documented, his issues with WB and their issues with him. So, yeah, I think we will see everyone but him. I think at the beginning of the movie, it will be the DCEU we know and most of us love. We'll see these Justice League characters. We'll see different versions of them as Barry, you know, travels and runs through the multiverse as well. And then when Barry does reboot the multiverse, I feel that some of them won't be in their roles anymore. They'll look different. Some of them maybe not even exist anymore. It'll be very, very interesting. It gives them a freedom to do whatever they want. But yeah, basically, when he reboots the multiverse or the universe, there will be no canon. There will be no, is this canon? Is this Justice League movie canon? Is the Snyder Cut canon? That discussion is gone. It's going to be an old universe. It's a clever way of doing it. It's like saying we're not going to shut down the whole thing. We're just going to delete what we've been doing and come to this new Earth that Matt Reeves is developing. This is, of course, very interesting. For me, it's very exciting. Personally, Scott, I think it's the right way to go. We need to move away from what's happened, whether you love the movies or not. It simply hasn't worked in a broader stroke. And we do have to move on from that. It's very, very important that we get the broader audience to feel better about a DC live-action universe, and that the multiverse will be enacted and everything will be canon from the multiverse. Your favourite iterations from the past and present of these DC characters will be canon on this brand new multiverse, but the central Earth, what I believe and from what I can gather from what people are saying, will be Matt Reeves' Earth 2, which will actually, after Flashpoint, transfer to Earth 1. So I hope I answered your question. This has been the Movies TV Mad Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Please comment down below, like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with more Movies TV Mad Daily. Until then, goodbye.